Could vampires really exist in our world? Now, before you dismiss this as pure fantasy, consider the countless myths and legends that have captivated humanity for centuries. From the blood-sucking creatures of the night in Transylvania to the immortal beings in modern pop culture, our fascination with vampires is undeniably universal. But is there any truth to these tales? Is it scientifically possible for such entities to exist? Let's delve into the science behind the vampire myth to see if it holds any water. The concept of vampires has roots in various cultures and mythologies, but the modern image of vampires is often associated with Eastern European folklore, particularly with the legend of Vlad the Impaler, also known as Dracula. Vlad III, Prince of Wallachia, was a historical figure who left a lasting mark on popular culture. Born in 1431 in Transylvania, a region in modern-day Romania, his father, Vlad II Dracul, was the ruler of Wallachia, a principality located to the south of Transylvania. Vlad II was granted the surname Dracul, Dragon, after his induction into the Order of the Dragon, a Christian military order supported by the Holy Roman Emperor. Vlad the Impaler earned his infamous moniker due to his favored method of dealing with his enemies. He was known for impaling his victims, a brutal and gruesome form of execution. Some particularly gruesome accounts claimed that Vlad liked to dine among the impaled bodies of his victims and would even dip his bread into their blood. The legend of Vlad the Impaler continues to captivate and intrigue people, making him a significant figure in both history and folklore. Vampires are known for their blood-sucking habits, but what does science say about this? Let's get into the nitty-gritty then, shall we? Blood, as we know, is a vital fluid coursing through our bodies. It's a cocktail of water, proteins, and cells, carrying oxygen and nutrients to our organs and tissues. But could it really serve as a sole source of sustenance? Well, here's the science. Blood is rich in iron and protein, but it lacks many of the essential nutrients required for human survival. It's deficient in vitamin C and A, as well as dietary fiber and carbohydrates. You'd also be getting a whopping amount of sodium, considering the high salt content in blood. So a vampire surviving solely on blood would be facing a severe nutritional imbalance. But let's not forget about those real-life blood consumers, vampire bats. These creatures have evolved to survive on a diet of blood. They've got specialized digestive systems that can extract the maximum amount of nutrients from blood while filtering out the excess water and waste. Their kidneys are adapted to handle the high protein content, and they even have a special anticoagulant in their saliva to keep the blood flowing. However, it's important to note that vampire bats are tiny creatures with bodies far smaller than ours. Their energy requirements are minuscule compared to a human's, and so the nutrients they glean from blood are enough to keep them going. For a creature the size of a human, a blood-only diet would be woefully inadequate. They would need to consume an enormous quantity of blood to meet their energy needs, far more than what could be extracted from a single human without causing death. In conclusion, while it's fascinating to consider the adaptations that allow some creatures to survive on blood, it's clear that for a human-sized creature, a blood-only diet is far from ideal, not to mention the myriad of health complications that would arise from such a diet. Could a vampire apocalypse really threaten mankind as depicted in popular culture? This question sends chills down the spine, doesn't it? But let's dissect it from a scientific point of view. First, we need to consider the implications of a rapidly multiplying immortal species on our planet's resources. Since vampires, according to folklore, are immortal and feed on human blood, an increase in their population would mean a decrease in the human population. This could lead to a catastrophic imbalance, considering that humans are the primary source of food for vampires. Furthermore, think about the environmental impact. Each species plays a unique role in maintaining the balance of our ecosystem. The sudden introduction of a new, rapidly multiplying species could disrupt this balance, leading to unforeseen consequences. Also, if vampires did exist and were immortal, they would face the problems of overpopulation and resource scarcity. Immortality might seem appealing, but it comes with its own challenges. Imagine the strain on resources like space and food if the population never decreased. Lastly, we must also consider the potential for disease transmission. Vampires are often portrayed as carriers of disease, and a vampire apocalypse could potentially spread these diseases at an alarming rate. So while the concept of a vampire apocalypse is thrilling to imagine, the reality is far from glamorous. It would be a fight for survival, with the stakes higher than ever before. A vampire apocalypse, while fascinating to contemplate, seems highly unlikely when viewed through the lens of science. Before we continue, I just wanted to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude. Your comments, likes, and shares have motivated me to create content that I hope has entertained, inspired, and resonated with you. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and become a part of this amazing community. So, could vampires really exist? Is there any scientific basis for the vampire myth? Whether vampires are real has been a topic of fascination and debate. While vampires are a popular subject in folklore, literature, and entertainment, the scientific consensus is that vampires, as traditionally depicted, are not real beings. However, some individuals identify as real-life vampires, claiming to have specific needs or characteristics. Some claim to feed off the energy of others, while others have blood fetishes. These individuals often seek to differentiate themselves from the traditional, fictional portrayal of vampires. Despite the enduring fascination with vampires, the existence of supernatural immortal beings that feed on human blood remains a matter of myth and legend rather than scientific fact. At the end of the day, even if vampires were discovered to be real, an apocalyptic vampire event probably wouldn't happen since they need humans as their main source. If there were too many vampires and too few humans, most of the vampires would starve to death, giving mankind a chance to rise and maybe even fight back. We've concluded that the likelihood of such an event is extremely low, if not impossible. In essence, while the science of vampires is fascinating to contemplate, it's clear that our current understanding of biology and physics doesn't support their existence. While the existence of vampires makes for a thrilling narrative, it seems that for now they remain firmly in the realm of myth and legend. Unlike zombies, if you want to learn more about how a zombie apocalypse threatens our civilization, check out this video right here.